Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a balanced rack, no duplicates. Do I have a bingo? I don't think so. What's best to do? Well, I think the best score is with mulch, 32, and a decent rack leave. I'm going with this. Great, that looks pretty bingo-y, but do I have one? I have Tyrannas. Mulch doesn't take any hooks, but Tyrannas currently plays in row I. Now, the best bingo lane is column 11 as a double-double through the C. So this rack plus a C, and it looks promising. But nothing is coming to mind. I'm imagining the S just as the S plural of a 7. Not seeing anything. And not too many prefixes or suffixes are coming to mind either. Now, how about column 8, beginning or ending in M? Well, now, opponent's played. Has he blocked my Tyranna's spot? Well, he hasn't completely blocked it. And in fact, I have it over the top of Hock, stopping one square short of the X. So column 8 is still available for bingos ending OM something or beginning OM. So what about OM something? No, not seeing anything. Athenors is good, but I don't think that's going to score more than Tyrannas because I get all the value from the H and the M. So 71. Wow, both blanks. And the rest of the rack are a bit of a horror show. But what to do here? Q and the F are the problem tiles. I'm not going to be able to get rid of both of them and preserve my blanks. I would have Fakir through an A and an I. But the Q is the higher priority. Is there anywhere for the Q? I could play Sank in column 11, burning a blank. 28 points. Gosh, probably better than changing. 2 blanks lack synergy. A blank by itself is worth 25 to 30 points, but the second blank probably only worth about 10. So this is quite a tricky spot. With 2 blanks, one could be a U, so maybe I should be looking at burning the F. And then maybe bingoing with the Q. So I could play Conf in column 11. 18 points. I think that's going to be better than changing. But do I have a bingo right now? There are quite a few floaters. It's just the F and Q together rather than individually, which is problematic. With 2 blanks, there is a huge range of potential bingos you could have. So I have the 4 prefix. Really not seeing a QF bingo. So where's the best place to play the F? I've considered Conf. And that's burning FON. So I also have Fon above the A of Tyrannas, and that's taking out a hot Z spot. And still leaving some floaters which may assist me. Mulch does take ING at the end. Opponent taking a while. Is he about to bingo? Well, he's not going to be bingoing with a blank. Double, double. Fantastic. So, how does that change things? Well, it means I don't have Fon anymore. What about a play in row H onto the K? Interesting. How about burning a blank and getting 54 points? I think that's worth doing. This rack lead is pretty good. And given that this blank is only worth about 10 to 12 points, I think this is the right play. Yeah. I was just pausing in case I should have considered more the possibility of a bingo through the new floaters, but I have discounted a QF bingo. So pretty good. I have all phrase and forays. Wow, great bingo for opponent with W and V. Can I come back with a bingo of my own? Look at this, only 2 points lead. So no S-lane bingos. Som takes nothing in front. I have or phrase, which does play under the G. I think that's good. So this is what I'm thinking of, 80 points. I don't think I'm going to get much more than that. Wow, pretty good pickup. Looks jolly close to a bingo. I would have unedible onto or through an E. None is available. But there could be a 7 here. Well, I'm not seeing it. So what about the floaters? How about the S? No, not seeing anything there. Just wondering if unwieldy is good. Maybe confusing it with unwieldy. And in any event, mulch blocks that. I have an 80-point lead. Where are the other floaters? C and H. H doesn't look good. Gosh, I'm 1 tile short of mulching. But I don't think the score for that is good enough to really fish for. Now, 22 for opponent, good, nice and low. He's provided a couple of new floaters. Now through an O, I would have unilobed and unboiled. He's provided an L, so what about unbilled? Sounds plausible, doesn't mean it's good. Let's find out. I think it is. Unbilled for 62. Wow, and look at this for a pickup, ridiculous. Looks jolly close to a bingo again. I have Impasto and Matty Pose. And they both play in row M, and Impasto plays in row C, so I am bingoing again. Wow, what a run of tiles. So, where's my best bingo? It's easy to get excited when you have unblockable bingos and take the opportunity to save some energy, but playing a suboptimal bingo can throw away points just as a suboptimal play at any other stage in the game. Now, opponents played quickly with Wodge, which has taken out the row M bingos. So, what has he provided? A floating E, not seeing a bingo beginning with E. So, coming back to row C, Impasto works. Matty Pose doesn't. And Impasto only works in one spot. Is there anywhere better? I don't think so, but this is slightly painful because I'm sticking a vowel above a double letter square. That's worth a -6 deduction. But given that an R only takes an E under it, and I don't have one, I'm not seeing a bingo anywhere else, and a play in column 14 is going to provide access to triple word squares in column 15. Now, what about Go taking A in front? Not seeing anything there. So are there any other lanes I've overlooked? I don't think so. I don't think there's a third anagram of this set. So Impasto for 77. And the bingo run ends with B, U, and W. But this is a balanced rack, no duplicates, and I have a 150-point lead. 24 tiles in the bag. Both blanks gone and 3 of the S's. So what to do here? Well, I certainly want to split up W and U, and preferably play both of them. Wow, look at this. I have wood, and I think this is worth playing. I have wood in column 11, which gets rid of W, O, U, D. I'm not too worried about a W in the middle of a triple lane, especially with the blanks gone. But is there an alternative play? I have wuss in column 14, but that doesn't score much, and it opens up column 15, all the triple word squares there. What about column 2, beginning above this A? And really, I'm looking for anything in this column which gets doubled. How would that end? Great, just 39 for opponents. So my lead is still over 100 points, which is fantastic. Let me see what wood scores. And I like the fact that it's turning over 4 tiles. 28, pretty decent score. A ton of vowels to come, let me count them. 15 out of 27. Wow, and this is keeping a vowel-heavy rack leave. I could easily draw 5 vowels. But there are some big tiles to come, J and Z, which like vowels. But opponent could make a play like wheeze, W-E-I-Z-E. So, is there something better? Where can my W play? Now, what about next to this E? A play beginning W-I. Still one U to come. The attraction of wood, or one of the attractions, was burning both W and U. I'm coming back to wanting to play it. Is there anywhere for a play like bowed? And do I have any alternatives in column 11? No, not seeing them. This may backfire, but I think I'll survive a backfire. Wood for 28. Great, I do draw 1 consonant, and I have both of my consonants are scoring tiles, so that helps me deal with vowel-heavy racks. I can play Cyber, C-E-I-B-A, that burns up tiles, only 16 in the bag, and would just leave 2 vowels on my rack. Opponent surely is going to play through the W and hopefully score only about 30 points, which is fine. Quite a few bingo or non-bingo-y tiles to come, F, J, U, Y, Z. So opponent's likelihood of bingoing is low, but not 0. So where can Cyber play? It can certainly play in row M. It won't score much, but the aim is burning tiles and balancing the rack. What about a play in column 14? Anything with the C? Not seeing anything. I could play Cybers in column 14. The C inhibiting a parallel play, but still providing some value. So I'm not a fan of that. What if opponent doesn't play through the W? Do I have a play? I don't think I do. W doesn't go well with C or B. Well, opponent leaves that alone. Interesting. And he's creating a new lane. Wow, he's played off quite bingo-y tiles. So I'm tempted to play Cyber here. 16 points. Turning over tiles, obstructing the bingo lane that opponent has created. And if opponent is about to bingo, he may be leaving this W alone. I am going with this. Wow, that looks pretty good. Through an R, I would have ratifies. Floating D available. Doesn't assist. And now I do have a W play. I have waifed, which would be quite nice. And the F can also go underneath the I of Cyber. And I have the final S. Interesting. I'm not very good at setting up spots which can take advantage of the final S. They tend to be spots which signal what you're intending, and opponent can generally obstruct, and it burns up time identifying such spots. Fortunately, in this game, I'm 160 ahead, so I don't have to find something ridiculously clever or amazing. But is there a bingo here? There's a floating S. Now, opponents played Jeet for 38. Good score. So waifed remains available. Do I have a bingo through the E? I have the IEST ending. Floating S. Do I have satisfies? I don't. That is a 9-letter play. Do I have a play with D and S? No. So let me see what waifed scores. Waifed is going to empty the bag. It's a decent score, but it empties the bag. That burns 4 tiles. So I would be sacrificing a ton of points if opponent were to bingo, because I wouldn't get another turn. Whereas if I leave 1 tile in the bag, I am guaranteed another turn. So what can I do with 2 or 3 tiles? And what about just playing FI somewhere? The rack leave of AEIST is pretty hot, with a D and an S to play through. Maybe that's the thing to do. 12 minutes on my clock. So IF spots. And possibly setting up. Wow, look at this. There's the F under the I. But FI is not good. Goaf is good. So what about playing if? And this is quite nice, because even if I don't have a bingo, I'll be able to place my S underneath Goaf and get a decent score, and I'm not emptying the bag. The best opponent can do is just to play a long row O, hooking BI, and that is going to score very little. Let's see if this plan works. Well, I don't think it does. I draw 2 vowels, so I have no scoring tiles. But the game is won. I have a 130-point lead. Is there really nothing through D or S? Don't think so. Just too many vowels. What a shame. That was such a good plan. So what am I going to do? So I've got Jeets in row A. And I think always when you've only got 1 pointers, you're looking for the scoring tiles on the board. What's the best I can do with Goafs? Do I have anything which goes under BI? Just T, so T and S would be together. So AITS. 44 points, not bad. Still coming back to this rack in case there's a bingo I've overlooked. Great, just 31 points for opponent. 1 tile in the bag. Interesting, is it worth playing off just 1 tile and having a shot at a bingo? I lead by 100. So I have this big score, AITS, and I could play WAITE in the top. If I did play off an A, is there really a bingo through D or S? I don't think there is. I am thinking about playing 8s for 44. Eats would be better. Is there a way of playing off 1 more tile? This is 44 points. Only 36 for Jeet, so this is better. I'm going with this. Great, I draw a consonant. Wow. So I draw a consonant, so maybe I would have had a bingo through D or S. Have to consider that, and possibly beginning with S. Okay, well, in any event, can I go out this turn Surely there's a bingo, not a bingo, but a play through the D, and there is. There's ideal. What about a play through the S? There's aisle, so I am going out. Nothing with the J, nothing with the W. And there could be other outs. I was on the brink of getting to 1900. I just needed one good game against a top player, and I've lost the last two, so my rating has crashed back down to 1840. And then you have a game like this, which has almost been unlosable given how good the tile drawing has been. And that's just the sort of game you want when you're on the brink of achieving something like winning a tournament or breaking through 1900 points, but it doesn't often work out that way. So what am I going to do with this rack? What's opponent going to do? He's got a heap of junk. No bingo for him. Do I have a play through the Y? Don't think so. And is there an alternative play through the D which gets doubles? So Iliad, Ailed, Ideal. Not seeing anything else. Could be something through the N. Anile, that's good. Opponent taking a while. He's got 8 minutes, so he's got plenty of time, and it's a tricky rack he's got to deal with. And particularly grim when you're guaranteed to lose. Now, what about Whaley? W-A-L-I-E. Is that good? Let me check that. I think it is. It is good. Fantastic. So, that's better than anything I've considered so far. It's 27 points. I'm going with this. And the final score, 347 for opponent, 520 for me, a winning margin of 173 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. Absolutely rip-roaring stuff. Let's see if I could have done even better. So this was my opening rack, and I played mulch. That looks fine. Opponent plays hawks. And now I have Tiranas. I thought about Athenors. And that scores only one more point and provides tons of floaters. As does Tirana, so I think very little between those. Opponent's rack. He has carriers. Missed bingo. Plays at I2. Making Soms. Tricky one to spot. Saki at the anagram. So here we go, 2 blanks, and no bingo here, so glad I didn't spend longer looking, and Quonk looks best. Opponent's rack, fantastic spot of wavering with a W and a V. So at this point my lead is just 2 points, but I have a good rack, and I bingo with all phrase, and that's the only bingo. Wow! I played that fairly quickly. But that was because I liked the score and didn't think a bingo elsewhere would exceed the score. It didn't occur to me that there were no bingos elsewhere. Opponent's rack plays plinth and unbilled in 2 different spots in row D. My spot scores less, but the other spot is one to the right, placing the D in the middle of column 15, so I prefer my play. Opponent's rack plays watch. And now I have this fantastic pick. And I play Impasto for 77, but H14, Impasto's playable through the S for 7 more points. Well, it's volatile, and it also provides 2 hotspots, but that contains within it the seeds of even greater volatility because the opponent may end up having both of them. So I think I prefer my play. And opponents. And the other thing with impastos is that it sets up a triple lane. Opponent's rack, and he has overdust. And look at that, if I'd played impastos, he would have had overdust as a triple in row O. But where does this play? F14. Oh, well, through the S of all phrase. Opponent doesn't spot that, plays drive. And now I have this rack. What do I do here? I play wood for 28, which just scrapes in 10th place. View, D1. Oh, wow, that's quite nice. An extra 10 points. And a better vowel consonant balance. Just the U being problematic. But worse vowels than BEI. So I'm not sure that those moves are terribly far apart. And I wouldn't have played View in a heartbeat if I'd seen it. I think I really would have had to think more closely about those two plays. I certainly did like getting rid of W and U in one go. Now, opponent's rack plays centre. So let's have a look at this. Played centre from this, keeping E-O-U. Wow, keeping 3 vowels. Now, my rack, and I play cyber, which isn't even on here, and that's because it doesn't score very much. But the best score was 10 more points. VIE, very nice, playing just vowels, scoring well, and keeping a balanced rack. That is a nice play. Although, given that opponent played centre and was creating a new lane, there was an advantage in cyber in that I was interrupting that lane. Now, opponent's rack plays Jeet, which VIE would have blocked. And my rack, which looked tantalisingly close to a bingo, but there is none. I play If for 17, creating... Interesting. Creating an S spot, but N6 for fat. Oh, wow, interesting. If I'd played fat, then goat also only takes an S, and fat scores nearly 20 more points, so... And I think would have left 1 in the bag. Let me just go back. This was the rack. At this point, there were 4 in the bag, so fat, yeah, I think would have been a better play, leaving 1 in the bag and still having that S hook. Now, opponent's rack plays Zo. My rack pretty grim, and I play Eats for 44. Opponent plays Joy, and I go out with Whaley for 27. So what a game, absolutely tremendous fun. And I had a huge lead, and the lead just stayed huge. Well, it stayed huge after all phrase. I think before all phrase I was only 2 points in front, but then I got all phrase unbilled and impasto, and I was just off into the distance. So these sorts of games happen, but not often enough, but they're great fun when they do happen. So many thanks to my opponent for the game. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.